I just reached 100 subscribers on YouTube. Thank you so much. Really appreciate every single one of you. So, today I want to do a special episode to talk about my collection, the website, and what I want to do next. That's right. The idea for this website came from my own experience as a collector. When I searched for information online, I kept running into a lot of pain points. Like Wikipedia isn't always accurate. Discogs helps a lot, but it doesn't always show images, and there's no visual standard. As a web developer, I thought maybe I can build something better. I also saw it as a personal playground for myself, and maybe, just maybe, something that could help me and other fans to complete our collections. At the very beginning, I even imagined putting every item into a huge 3D world globe, like something you'd see in a sci-fi movie. But, well, that idea turned out to be way more complicated than I expected. And since I don't have a designer helping me, it's just me as a developer, I had to be realistic. About the name, at first, I wanted something like Backstreet Boys Digital Archive, digital library or database. Very straightforward titles. But when I asked several fans around me, many of them preferred the word museum. My best friend, who's also a Backstreet Boys collector, said, "Hey, museum sounds more premium." So we went with that in the end. I do know that the name could conflict with official pop-up museums the boys might do. And honestly, SEO has been really hard for me with this name. But whatever. I'm not planning to make money from this anyway. In fact, the server fees are actually costing me money. What I really want now is to help collectors like me around the world. If you search for a disc you're looking for, land on my page, and feel satisfied with the information, that's already enough for me. I personally own more than 1,000 different Backstreet Boys discographies and goods. But scanning, documenting, and organizing all of them is a massive amount of work, so this is definitely a long-term project. Our domain is now backstreetboys.app. It's easier to remember. And more importantly, I don't want anyone to misunderstand this as an official website. That's why I clearly put a notice on the front page. And it's a web app. You can install it as a standalone app on your phone or computer using modern browsers like Safari, Chrome, Edge. I want to say this very clearly. I will never do anything that could harm Backstreet Boys copyrights. I won't provide music downloads, video downloads, nothing like that. What I truly hope is that this website can bring them more fans and maybe even more sales of their records and merchandise. Now, let's talk about how to use the website. To be honest, I reused a lot of Discog's structure because it already makes sense for collectors. When you enter the site, you can go directly to the discography section you want to explore. In the future, I'll add more tabs at the top, like albums, singles, videos, and interviews as main categories. For example, if you want to check out the Red album, you click into it, and you'll see the basic information, all the singles related to it, and all available versions. In the versions section, you can sort and filter the listings. Digital versions are something I want to cover more in the future. The filters are especially useful if you already know what you're looking for. I know different collectors care about different details. Some people collect based on cover variations. so the listing helps with that. Others want to compare back covers or disc designs, and you can filter those as well. I'm not a good UX or UI designer. It doesn't look great. I know that. But functionally, I hope it still helps. If you see a version that looks interesting, like this unique disc design, you can click into it to view the detail page. I tried my best to keep everything as close as possible to how it was originally printed on the physical media. Of course, I do make mistakes. If you find any errors or bugs, please email me. Even the tiniest correction helps a lot. About naming and standards. I'm trying to keep the naming system as consistent as possible. I use version only for regions and territories. And in another dimension, I use edition. So, for example, a Japanese version can include a standard edition or limited edition or special edition. And the first release, I call it initial release. If something is re-released, I call it the reissue, no matter when it was re-released. And for Japan or some other countries, where the first manufactured discs contain different materials, I use the Japanese terms, first press and regular press. So, a Japanese release could include a standard edition or a limited edition, and the standard edition itself could have a first press and a regular press as different variants. In my system, I don't call something a Japan edition or Japan press. I'm not trying to set this as an industry standard. I just want to make things easier to understand on my website, because honestly, there are too many editions out there. For now, I also don't plan to cover IFPI codes. I don't want to split the same disk into multiple entries just because of different IFPI numbers. That level of detail feels a bit too professional for a fan. And yes, I know all of these images are copyrighted. That's why I don't offer high-resolution pictures. I always scan the cover and the back together with the case. Because to me, the beauty of physical media is always tied to its packaging. Every image that is scanned or edited by me is also watermarked. Now, let's go back to the version detail pages. On some pages, you'll see a wanted label. These are versions that I'm still missing. If you own any of them and are willing to sell or trade, I really love to hear from you. This is actually another reason why I built this website. In the track section, you can find basic song information and lyrics. That part is more like a bonus to me. What's more useful is that you can see which discographies include that song and which collection it appears in. Of course, some songs appear in many releases, so this section will randomly show several of them. Speaking of tracks, another feature on my to-do list is adding track lists directly on the discography pages, so you can easily see how many different track lists exist for one album and filter them as well. But I don't have an idea how to show it for now. The insert section lets you flip through the actual paperwork that comes with the release. Even official store pages sometimes reveal inserts. And honestly, I think that's part of the charm, and even a selling point of physical media. So why not showcase it? In the intro section, I plan to write short collection guides when possible to help introduce the release and provide the includes and available in section show box sets or combined items that include this release or other collections it belongs to. For example, could be bundles, series, or special packages. Another feature I built is the web rewind section. It showcases old official Backstreet Boys websites. I recreated navigation, added translations, and enabled full screen viewing. I hope this framework can be expanded to include more sites in the future. There's also a somewhat hidden feature, the product section. To be honest, this part is also very unclear to me. The boys have tons of merchandise and promotional items, and the number keeps growing every day. Unlike CDs, cassettes, or vinyl, where categories are clear but products are messy, I haven't found a good structure yet. If you have ideas, I really love to talk with you about. The next big feature I want to build is a tour log. I know many fans follow Backstreet Boys around the world, collecting tour merch and memories. I hope this can become a place to document past tours, showcasing tour merchandise, posters, set lists, ticket stubs, and promotional materials. I hope it can bring back memories. I've also thought about building a marketplace for trading, but I'm not sure yet. This could be a super complex feature with user system, order system, payment system. Still, what I ultimately want is to build a community for Backstreet Boys collectors, where we can exchange information and help each other strengthen our collections. As for YouTube videos, I'll just keep picking items randomly and introducing them. You're okay with my talkative unboxing style. I hope you'll consider liking, sharing, subscribing. Thanks very much. That's all I want to share today. Thanks if you watched until now, and keep the Backstreet Pride alive.